Geeks Real Estate Show. I'm Chad Vandelot, and joining me as always is Kirk Duckwall.
I think one time I'm not going to join you. Just going to sneak out.
Nah, I don't like that idea. We are the House Geeks. You can also check us out every Sunday at noon on AM 950. Today's show is going to be on top seller mistakes. There is a common misconception that since the market is so hot, you don't need to take the necessary steps to maximize your profit. And if you stick around and listen to us today, we're going to try and shed some light on that myth. We'd like to take 1 second here to thank our sponsors, Bricks Real Estate, iLoan, Network Title, and Country Financial. We do have an event coming up. It's a home buyer class. Join us tonight from 6:30 to 8 o'clock at the VFW in North St. Paul. You can check out our Facebook page for directions or details on that. Check us out online anytime at housegeeks.com, where you will find the latest and greatest searching and researching tools, along with a big library of our previous shows and informative videos that we do quite regularly.
We also have a poll question today asking what time of year do homes get the highest price accepted offers on them, so that the two choices are March through May or June through August. Curious to see what people's thoughts are.
Mm-hmm.
And you can, well, obviously, you can do that on our Facebook page. Ready?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, here we go. Welcome to the House Geeks Real Estate Show, sponsored by Bricks Real Estate. I'm Kirk Duckwall. Joining me is Chad Vandelot, and we are the House Geeks. Our other sponsors are iLoan Home Mortgage, Network Title, and James Tolson with Country Financial. A bunch of great people. Give me a call if you have any questions. 612-207-5388. Again, 612-207-5388. You can check us out anytime. HouseGeeks.com. The latest and greatest searching and researching tools. We have a whole bunch more links that we've added on there, and the best home searching app out there. It's the same one we use as realtors. So check us out as well for upcoming events, classes. You can watch us on our Facebook page by typing in House Geeks. Now we have a new page, House Geeks Houses. So make sure you're on the just straight House Geeks page, where we have 24 to Friday upcoming classes, all sorts of stuff on there. Today we are talking about top seller mistakes. Not necessarily the best time of year at the moment to be putting a house on the market, especially if you're a couple months out from putting it on the market. And we're going to get into timelines and things like that. But hopefully this gives people things to think about as they may be getting their home ready for a spring or late winter, possibly summer listing. So. Yeah, top seller mistakes, and each one of these can cost the seller thousands and thousands of dollars ultimately in the sale price. And I know something that we pride ourselves on as the House Geeks and Bricks Real Estate agents is really trying to get the top dollar with minimal hassle. And most of the stuff is minimal. And we can always give guidance to help people with getting their home ready for sale. And when you think of, hey, I want to put my home on the market, how much time do you think the average consumer thinks they need?
12 hours.
12 hours. Right? And how much time do you think it really takes?
I would estimate 2 to 3 months would be, and even longer, 2 to 3 months minimum. By the time you talk to an agent, get some advice, some recommendations, think the process through clearly, understand the process, so you can go in with a clear plan to maximize your profit and minimize the inconvenience associated with maximizing the profit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and and just to schedule up work if you're going to have work done. It's kind of like, think of it like the idea of why is it you vacuum out the car and bring it through the car wash prior to bringing it for trade-in? You want the presentation to be good. So the rushing, the number one mistake I think people make is they try to rush their property onto the market.
A good example of this is paint jobs. A good paint job in a home will always pay off. A bad paint job where it gets onto the ceiling and gets onto the trim and there's poor color choice and there's drips on the floor and drips running down the wall can actually take money off. And it's clearly that the person who did it was not trying to either save money by doing it themselves or was in a hurry to get it done and did not do it.
I was in a home the other day, and the spackle where they went over the nail holes didn't get painted. And I thought to myself, me in car analogies, I thought, wow, that would be like going out and looking at a car with that had fresh Bondo on it that wasn't painted. How would that make you feel about that car? So, even though it's a simple, easy thing, it makes such a big difference in that presentation. So
doing it properly makes all the difference as well.
Yeah, not the handyman's work is not always the best choice. So rushing can be a huge mistake, and we're going to get into a breakdown of some of the things you want to consider. But let's just talk about putting the listing on the market. The top 5 kind of times to avoid putting a house on the market. And I see people making this mistake a lot. And we understand that there may be overlying factors that sometimes you have to just list the house during these times of year. And if that's the case, at least you understand that. So first, we're going to cover a couple times of year where we see showing activity down by as much as 40 to 50%. And that's between Thanksgiving and New Year's. And then between kind of like late June, 4th of July through Labor Day. And that's a big chunk of time. That's a couple months. But kid you not, showing activity down by about 50%. Anybody argues with me, I'm more than happy to show you the data on that. But, if you're down by 50% on showing activity, that's the supply and demand. You're just not going to get as much. So if you can avoid that period of time, try to,
However, during that time is a great time to do pre-marketing. So if you get on the ball early enough, in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, people are sitting on the couch a lot, shopping on their phone, looking through stuff. So there's a lot of views online during that time. And once that week or two after New Year's comes in, there's a relatively large quantity of buyers that come out because they've been sitting around with family and eating a bunch of food and looking on their phone during the holidays.
Yep. So, pre-marketing and preparation. There's your time. If you're coming to us right now saying, hey, Kirk, I want to put the house on the market, I'd go, okay, let's use this time where it's a little slower to get the house ready. And we're going to get into some of that here shortly. So there's 2 times of year that you can try to avoid if possible. Here's an easy one that I've seen people make the mistake, and that's listing it right before a holiday weekend. Just wait the few days, wait for the holiday to go by, because you want to talk about drop-off and showing activity. There you're running into 70, 80% drop-offs. I mean, why not just wait the extra 3 or 4 days? Because those first few days are so important. You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot there.
And along those lines, the holidays tend to happen during extreme weather times, either the dead of summer, where it's maybe really, really, really hot, or thunderstorms, or in the winter, where you'll have predicted snowstorms. And you really want to avoid listing just prior to those snowstorms, because the first week or 2 is the absolute most important to gain buyer activity, because your house will be the new one on the market.
Buyers shop for homes when they're in their routines and in front of screens, not when they're out on the lake or shoveling snow. Okay, day of the week. This is probably an underknown, that's a statement, probably not, not as well-known thing as far as timing. But you can have a 40% shift in showings between Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday versus Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So perfect day to actually list is Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, in that timeline. So that way, when it gets fully uploaded into all the different systems, whether that's your MLS, your Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, these sites take a little while to get the stuff up, but it gives it the time for it to get up there and then get that showing activity. So it's the day of the week makes a big, big difference.
The other thing is a lot of people plan their weekends on Thursday-ish, and a lot of people look at homes on the weekend. So if you put it on Thursday before they start planning the weekend, they may plan on seeing your home.
Yeah, there's if you look at the weekly showing activity, you'll see 15 to 20% gains, between Monday and Tuesday, and then Tuesday and Wednesday, and then you get to your Friday and Saturday, and those are your peak days for showing activity.
It also lines up good for open houses. A lot of times, I know you and I like to not do an open house that first weekend,
right,
because we want people to have agents to come through, or encourage people who don't have agents to get an agent. So then it gives us that one full week and a couple days to build up some anticipation for an open house and hopefully get a good turnout at the open house the following week.
Well, and going into your pre-market piece, if it's coming down to like it's Saturday afternoon, and you don't think you're going to have everything ready to come on to the market, just use the pre-market for an extra 3 days, right? And it's not worth it. It's not worth losing all that activity that you may gain by listing on just the correct day of the week. So rushing on, that's probably the biggest mistake. We'll get into some of the finer points when we come back from our commercial break. If you have any questions, you can give us a call, 612-207-5388. Again, 612-207-5388. Also check us out online at housegeeks.com. Follow us on our YouTube page. We don't talk about that probably enough. Tons and tons of videos on there, a whole history of all the shows that we've done, and we have lots of short videos and top seller tips and things like that. We'll be right back. See if we have anybody answering our polling question. Not yet. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back to the House Geeks Real Estate Show on AM 950. If you have any questions for us after the show, you can give us a call at 612-207-5388. Again, 612-207-5388. Today, talking about top seller mistakes. We spent pretty much the whole last segment breaking down what I think is probably the most important, which is rushing your listing onto market, as it's just not getting everything ready. It will severely cost you quite often. So if you missed that segment, you can go to our Facebook page or YouTube page, just type in House Geeks and watch that, or listen to it on SoundCloud. Or if you have a fancy radio, you can now you have the rewind on there.
Mm-hmm.
You seen that?
I haven't seen it. Yeah. Kind of like, I still call it TiVo, even though it's not TiVo.
Yeah, it's rewind. Okay, so top seller mistakes. This is a huge one, and that's not dealing with, we kind of talked about the paint, how important the paint is, but I also want to get into the carpet. If there are pet stains, if there's wear on there, if there's a spilled coffee, Kool-Aid, roughed up edge where it's a transition, all of that. If you're thinking to yourself, should I replace the carpet? Is this something I should do? The answer is yes, right? If there's any question about it, the answer is yes.
Likewise with paint.
Yeah, I mean, flooring, not only does it change the smell of a property, especially if there's pets in there, But, just the general look.
I have another, and it hasn't been proven, but it makes sense to me. If you paint and if you put carpet in, it does take away from smells, but it also adds a smell. It adds the smell that people associate with new.
Yes.
And people say that it smells new in here. It smells new. And it covers up the dirty or old feeling. And they do say that smell is like one of the strongest senses, and one of the strongest senses that people associate with feeling. Mm-hmm. So having that association with new versus old and dirty, I think it's a pretty powerful impact. I haven't seen it proven, but I'm pretty sure it happens.
Yeah, well, I would agree. I think, we probably could just go in and easily prove that. Let's just find a bunch of houses that have been rehabbed and, versus similar ones that didn't have that done. You can probably see a direct correlation in price.
And when you do that stuff, it makes your photography really pop too. It does wonders for photography. And if you're putting new carpet in, odds are you're going to have to move all your junk out of the room so they can get the carpet in. If you're going to paint, you move all your junk out of the room. And that's a good time to start staging and decluttering and packing up some of your stuff.
That staging, cleaning, decluttering, adding appropriate lighting levels.
Yes, bright light bulbs, especially in the wintertime. Bright light bulbs.
That's in our top sellers tips video. Just take a look at the difference between shades down, dimmer lights, and then shades open, brighter lights. You can just go to our YouTube, and I think our regular House Geeks page has that one on there.
Along the lines of lighting, this is something that happens all the time. A hard-to-reach light bulb goes out, and homeowners don't replace that light bulb because they think there's enough light in the house. Well, the new buyers that come through associate that with that fixture being broken.
Yep.
Now, we have ways of testing that to see if it is a burnt-out light bulb or a fixture, but you're already putting a negative impression in people's heads, thinking that the property is not maintained, wore down, things are broken.
Car analogy, you hit the blinker's not working. What are you going to think, You mentioned the professional photography. This is such a big one. And I'll tell you, any photographer out there, if you're not a real estate photographer, professional real estate photographer, you shouldn't be taking real estate photos for a listing. Okay, I have an amazing camera. You have an amazing camera, Chad. Mm-hmm. I can take some amazing pictures of planets and nature and birds and airplanes and all the things that I like to take pictures of. But I should not be shooting real estate photography.
Nor should I.
It's an art.
I don't.
It's an art. And you know what? Yes, I love taking pictures of planets, but I don't take them as good as a professional astrophotographer, and I recognize that, and I probably wouldn't be putting my pictures in a magazine.
And this is proven. We hear it almost every single day we do showings. We hear, oh my God, it looks so much different online. It looks so much bigger. It looks so much brighter. It looks so much cleaner. Our saying on the show here, and if you've listened to our show a number of times, you've heard us say, pictures tell 1,000 lies. Good pictures can make a bad house look really good, and bad pictures can make a good house look bad.
Right. And so, I know with the photographers we use are chosen because they do a pretty good job of accurately portraying the stage that we have set, the staging. So we're not fisheye wide angle, so it makes it feel too big, and we're not 35 millimeter making it seem like a matchbox.
We want to shine a good light on it without misrepresenting it. The other reason we choose our photographers as we do is they're reliable. When we hire them, we know we're going to get the pictures back on a certain day. Therefore, we can list it on the optimum day of the week and maximize the number of showings in a short period of time.
And here's a good one. You get into a house winter time, good little 20 degrees outside. You walk in, and the house
is vacant, right?
Yes, the house is vacant. And it's cold.
Because the seller wants to save money by not spending it on a little bit of money for the heat of the home.
So, in a sense, they've told the buyer that they're cheap, and maybe that is reflected in other aspects of how they treated the home.
And the buyers and the agents are both uncomfortable in the house, so
They want to leave.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But when you open the door and it's bright,
Oh,
and
you know
the
what?
furnace is turned on to 71, and you're coming in from 0-degree weather, oh, you take your coat off and you stay a while, and the lights are on, and it's bright, and it feels cheery, and you spend some time in there to look around.
And you know the furnace might not be broken or having problems or short cycling, all the things associated with keeping the house cold.
Mm-hmm.
If you're worried about saving that $150, you are probably going to lose $5,000 on your sale price. Just keep that in mind. That's why it's such a big seller mistake to leave it cold.
And the converse to that is in the summertime, not having the air conditioner on.
Yep. Yeah, is it not insulated correctly? That's another one. I mean, that's a very expensive fix. And these are all the things that you're putting into a buyer's head when they're walking through. So,
and as you're looking up the next topic, when people start looking for a house and they have money on their mind, but in my experience, they choose their house in large part from their gut, how it feels, how it looks when they are in that home, and how that experience has affected them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you can control. There's a lot that you can control as a seller. So don't make the mistake of putting the wrong impressions into a buyer's mind.
Which leads into the next topic. A lot of sellers, they'll focus on the inside of the house, not realizing that the showing actually, well, the first showing is online through the pictures, but the impression actually starts as we pull up to the house and take the first look at it. So if you put all your focus on the inside and neglect the outside, the buyer is going to think the home's neglected before they even see the pretty stuff.
Well, we talk about in our class, the first thing that we're going to do is an exterior walk around of the house. And you know what? I had one the other day where I'm like, oh, man, I don't even know if we need to go into this one. It was so badly staged on the exterior. We almost left and then got into the inside. It's like, it's pretty nice in here, So once again, it's setting that stage in the mind. And so, edge the sidewalk, get the grass that's growing over pushed back, put down some fresh mulch. Make sure the door opens nicely. Make sure the screen door looks nice and isn't like rotting.
So as you notice, as Kirk's going through these are a lot of these are free things that you can do. And people focus on the really expensive, dramatic things like adding a bedroom, adding a bathroom, those kind of things. What we want to do is help you maximize profit and minimize your costs.
Oh, I mean, you just using your own furniture, cleaning and just, general staging. I'm not saying always in putting out professional staging, but just get it set up is important. It makes a huge difference.
And get it set up for photos, because the first showing does happen online and you want to see those nice photos of a home that's staged.
There's quite a few others I was hoping to go through today. We just don't really have the time. As I said, on our YouTube page and on our House Geeks page, we have lots of videos on some of these seller mistakes and things that you can do to help yourself get ready to maximize that sale price. Take care and have a great week. Bye, Facebook.
Are we off there?